All our students so far are very curious, we have a lot of rigor, and we are quite ambitious. And imagine you are standing in front of the class, you're giving a class, you're giving a lecture. Nothing more boring can happen when a cohort of 50 students just sitting there and falling asleep. So that means we want to have people who are self-confident enough to raise their voice and say, hey, listen, I didn't understand that. Or I see it from a different perspective, etc. And that's exactly what we are looking for during these interviews. Therefore, if you come with well-thought questions and you start challenging, I would like to take additional course on whatever topic, how does it fit, etc. That means you know exactly what you're talking about. And that is the most important. Yeah, that is from my side about that. And last but not least, keep in mind, we have approximately last year 120, 130 applications in the interviews, and we will assign 25 to 30 places, no more. So the ratio is about 4 to 5 applicants per place. Could be a little bit higher, we never know. So if you want to convince us to say, yes, this is the person we want to see in the program, just be yourself. Simply be yourself. Think about now in an early advance or early time now already, think about how the commission reacts when you start saying something which reads or looks like it's a written essay or something like that. Very superficial questions. And when you have such a bunch of interviews, and you had interviews with all of you have 120 interviews, immediately you realize this is the person, this is artificial. And we don't like the artificial. We are also normal, ordinary people. Okay, this is from my side some advice. It might be slightly different, but you never know. But what always counts, be sure, is if you're really yourself, you just present your own personality, nobody else. You're not ready-made graduates, our job to help you developing further, but challenge us because we will challenge you as well. You shouldn't be afraid. First of all, we don't take notes now and write down your names. But the first step, certainly, I promise, simply switch on your cams so we see you. And when we come for the interview, I'm very, very sure we will recognize the one or the other face. That gives already an advantage, certainly an advantage from the very early. Now, yeah.
I'm interested in the program because of how varied and how open it is. Because my bachelor degree is in biomedical sciences, so it's not in management or economy in particular. But I think when I read the description of the program, I was interested in how I can blend with my previous knowledge and the knowledge that I would get from this program.
Thank you very much. It's not so difficult as you see. No complication. Okay, who's next?
Serafima, maybe you? Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Serafima, and I'm a doctor. I'm a physician, and now I'm looking for some program which will broaden my opportunities, and maybe I could make something in innovation and make healthcare in Russia better somehow. Well, this is it for me.
Thank you very much, Serafima.
How about Oleg?
Gentlemen.
Oleg, you participated in our early invitation program, right?
Yes, that's right. Well, I will take the word then, if you don't mind. I want to deepen my knowledge and I think get a specialization in the field of the management, because I believe my bachelor degree gave me some fundamental education. I am a political science student, so that's why I want to apply the program. And also I am interested in technology and innovation. I have some working experience in this sphere, so that's tied up with my career track too, I think.
Yes, thank you, Oleg. And yeah, just one quick comment. This is a very good example when you can refer to the particular courses, because you mentioned that you're in political science and you would like to deep your knowledge, but this is kind of differentiation, not deepen, and you can refer to particular courses that you would like to take from our program in order to get some knowledge plus to the political science. That would be perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'll tell you earlier about our graduate and research fellow now and PhD student at the Swiss Higher Technical School of Zurich, Dmitriy Plekhanov. He is here and he'll share with you their experience of international internship at the Organization for Economics Cooperation and Development. And Dmitry will tell you what is important to know for students who want to take an international internship. Okay, Dmitry, I'll give you the floor. I think you can start.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Dmitry, I'm Research Associate at the Chair of Production and Operations Management at ETH Zurich. So I studied at this master's program from 2015 to 2017. And after the first year of studying all my studies at HEC, I got an internship at the OECD thanks to the network of Higher School of Economics. Then I got hired for another 2 years. And then at some point I discovered that actually I need some academic experience. I need some academic title. So therefore I moved to Switzerland to start my work and research at ETH Zurich. So currently I study the digital transformation of the business sector, and I use all the skills and knowledge that I acquired during my years at HEC. So I guess just open the floor for your questions if you have any. Everyone.
How many, why did you come to this idea to pursue a PhD degree after you get graduated from our master's program?
Yeah, it's a good question. It just, I mean, according to my experience, if I want to kind of remain at this stream of work, like consulting type of work, maybe for international organizations, it would be better for me to have a PhD title, to have a PhD degree, but it's also what I like, actually. I like research. So at the OECD, I was the project manager for the project Digital Science and Innovation Policy, DSIP, and the project examined the impacts of digital solutions and data sources on formulation and implementation of science and innovation policy. And I found it extremely fascinating. The work that we were doing there was rather at the macro level and targeted for policymakers. And I thought it would be interesting to go a bit deeper into the firm level and actually to switch from a policy discussion to the kind of mundane things and operations at the firm level, at the shop floor management level. And therefore I decided to go for PhD at ETH Zurich. We have quite strong connections with the industry. So we work, we have close ties with Swiss industrial partners, but also European partners. we have a strong dialogue with the World Economic Forum on issues related to the Industry 4.0, and we also collaborate with a number of Swiss research institutes, including University of St. Gallen, so which is one of the best business schools in Europe here. And it was I just felt passionate, and I felt curious about research. And studies at HEC actually helped me to build up this foundation for pursuing this academic career. I haven't decided yet where I want to go, to which track, to industry after my PhD, or to international organization, or to academia. I guess even now it's too early to tell. Everything's kind of relies on the quality of my publications, right? And yeah, I was quite happy in Moscow. It's a wonderful city. I mean, some of you already live there, but it's international. There are many things going on. It's very nice to live there. HEC is located just in the center, I know, like 15 minutes walk from the Red Square. Then you walk on the Mysnitsky Street where the campus is, and it's full of nice restaurants, bars. So even though you have classes from 6 to 9, after 9 o'clock, you have a nice atmosphere outside, so you can feel alive. And one of the main advantages, in my opinion, of the master's program is that you can actually combine the work elsewhere with your studies at HEC, and there are a lot of synergies between the work that you can get elsewhere and innovation management classes at HEC, because innovation is interdisciplinary phenomenon. It's everywhere. In my class, we had classmates from different walks of life doing biochemistry research, doing IT, some people with background in political science or social science, and kind of everything came well together. And during my studies at the master's program, I worked as a consultant at KPMG. So it was a nice office in Moscow City. I stayed there for four months, but actually it's very difficult to combine consulting with anything else. So I don't really have a personal life, let alone time for studies. Then after that, I had an opportunity to work for translation agency, because during my bachelor's I did Asian studies. So I spent some years in China, in Taiwan, and in Moscow I worked as a translator and interpreter for aviaspace industry, translating technical documentation from Chinese into Russian and from Russian to Chinese. But as I said, it might be challenging to combine work with studies, and I was quite happy and lucky to get hired as a research assistant at the Institute of Statistical Studies and Economy of Knowledge. So I guess there are some job opportunities on the horizon if you're interested, working on innovation policy and innovation management. And there are a lot of synergies between these two and your master's program. And I didn't join the talk from the very beginning, but maybe it was already mentioned that after this master's program, you have tremendous opportunities to get hired in many organizations, from different types of organizations, private, public sector, international organizations as well. So from like there are many people from my group working in big consulting companies in Moscow, working in Italy, in Germany, elsewhere. I guess there are 2 graduates working in Zurich right now. So we are quite international, working in different fields, but everyone is successful, I think so. And I had a great time studying Moscow, so highly recommend it.
Tim, who is the second group mate working in Zurich?
Simon. Remember, like the
yes,
student,
okay,
right?
Simon Yankoviak, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I guess he works right now for Credit Suisse in Zurich. So the world is incredibly small.
Our DDP student.
Mm-hmm.
That's so great. Okay.
In
Thanks.
Switzerland,
That's really.
if I
And do
meet
you still work for OECD, right?
no, I don't work for the OECD.
Or you got concentrated on your studies and
so not all my publications got published yet, so they kind of got lost in the corridors of peer review at the OECD. I guess there are like 2 publications about to be published this summer, if everything goes right, if like stars collide, you know. And also United Nations invited me for some talks and for some policy advice on innovation policy issues. So I'm kind of still in this circle of innovation policy, staying a bit, just kind of keeping the fire alive. But my research is at the level of industry, or the firm level. So I study the productivity enhancing effects of digital technologies, working together with Swiss Economic Institute, the COF. So it's kind of equivalent of ECS, so where the master's program is based on. It has similar functions and has similar access to statistical data. So they're trying to analyze dynamic panel of data on Swiss enterprises for the last 15 years, and it's quite exciting to kind of drill down a bit to the foundations of the Swiss economy. And also, like for my research, I travel a bit around Switzerland, interviewing some private companies, and it's extremely interesting. You just you go to the border, like to the joint border between Switzerland and Luxembourg, Liechtenstein, sorry. And in a small village, there is the world leader of something. So the Swiss economy is largely based on small, medium enterprises. Around 97% of the entire economy is based on small, medium enterprises, and they're quite leading. Many of them are family owned. It makes a bit of an exotic touch to it. Yeah. So, any questions?
Well, thanks a lot. I'd love to study at this program, you know. Dr. Meister, you take me on board.
Applicants, maybe you will have a question?
I do.
Yes, please.
Okay. First, you said that the program or the university helped you to get hired in the agency. I heard right or not?
So because, if I'm not mistaken, maybe Dirk can clarify that in more detail. There is agreement between OECD and the Institute of Statistical Studies and Economy of Knowledge. So back in the days, it was agreement according to that, like two master students are sent to the OECD for the internship for after the first year of studies for July and August, so to say. And I was invited back as a consultant during the 4th semester. So I wrote a joint master thesis. I had 2 supervisors, one from the OECD and one from Higher School of Economics, Dirk Meissner. And then after I got my diploma from Higher School of Economics, I got a position as a project manager at the OECD. So I spent like more or less 3 years working there at this organization. Then applied for PhD at ETH Zurich. So to put it shortly. Okay. And where are you from? Where are you from?
I'm from Syria.
Syria, nice. So if you join the program, you become more international.
This is a nice preparatory step. I can confirm we are working with OECD now, at least I am 25 years, something like that. So when we find good candidates, we give a nomination for internship at OECD. This is the first step. And usually it develops quite well so far, except last year for the pandemic reasons. We always had interns seconded to OECD for in between 2 months and 4 months, working in Paris directly in the headquarters. So you can do it remotely. Depends up to you how you will further elaborate on that. Another words about the relation with ETH in Zurich. So Dmitriy mentioned the CORF, the Research Institute. Surprise, surprise, the head of the institute, no, not the head, but Martin Werner will be pleased, so he's very pleased to give some lectures in the measurement course. So we have quite a nice relation with CORF, which is also probably due to some of our colleagues which we have here in Moscow, who have a history, who used to work in Switzerland for quite a while. So that is what you see in light of our graduates. So they are now spread around the world. The same you see about our teachers. Our teachers, only half of them, they are born in Moscow, or in the Russian Federation, and the others somewhere else around the world. So this is in any sense quite international global environment, which allows us to say that, allows us, we do not need to give you a course in multinational teamwork or something like that. The only thing we do is we show you learning by doing, because you meet the German, you meet the Austrian, you meet the Greek or the American, the Brazilian, and so on and so on and so on. So nothing better than working together with all these folks and not reading a book which tells you people are different. Number one. Number two, people are always different. And number three, people stay different. So this is just theoretical. Whatever you learn, the daily contact, the daily communication, when you see how different people are in terms of their communication mentality, etc., which gives you a much better personal asset. Probably yes. Hopefully. So no guarantee that it really works, but it's up to the individual, of course. That means, in other words, from our side, from side of HSC, we are very open. We are always open. And we expect you to be open as well. And openness means switch on your camera and ask questions. I got it now. I caught you, but you don't react. Okay. I will find another better approach about that.
Yes, if you don't
I
mind.
actually do have another question. Okay. I'll like, and then I will.
Thank you. Well, Dmitry, thank you for your story. You mentioned that wonderful opportunity when you are defending your master thesis. There are also representatives of business or international organizations in the commission. So some representatives of OECD were on your commission, and maybe you can tell about other successful cases when graduates were getting offer from their potential employers. Thank you.
There were actually a good number of people who wrote joint theses, joint dissertations together with, like, between HSC and some other industrial partners or international organizations. But I guess Dirk has a better understanding of that.
It's very simple. This is Dmitri's thesis is one example. We do it also jointly with companies. We do it jointly with Russian agencies, etc., where we appoint two supervisors for the thesis. One supervisor outside the place we are working, and one supervisor internally. And these two give you an advice how to write the thesis. So the thesis is divided in 2 years' time. So very, very final work, that's for sure. But from our side, from the program perspective, we do not tell you what you should write about and who you should, what you should do. What we do is we make sure that your work meets predefined standards. If you don't meet standards, of course, it doesn't work. But in any other case, in other sense, we try to give our best depending on your ambitions, where you want to go. But the topic of your thesis can be an industrial, can be something, a direct contribution to a company, solving a problem or contributing to a problem solution. This is one thing. It can be very much like a case study work. At the same time, if you are very keen obtaining a PhD and you want to do something, Lady Crown, for a first publication, certainly will help you to develop a work, a thesis in light, which might be suitable for a later publication. So it's the whole spectrum. And that is expressed, and this is matched and mirrored in our actual understanding. We should write it at the website, but our understanding is that we are not here to teach you something. We are here with a program to help you developing a career in the future. We don't tell you which career you should develop. This is up to you. This is absolutely up to you. We are here and listen to you. We will not come and run a psychological test with you to tell you you should go that direction or that direction. Never ever. You're adults. You have your idea, you have your ambition, and you tell us what you want to achieve, and we tell you how we can help you achieving that. We can help you, but we do not plan your career. And we don't tell you next year employed here, and 5 years here, and 10 years here. This is not our job. It's not our job to present an offer for an employment contract after graduation. It's our job to discuss with you and to tell you, come on, from our perspective, you should do this or this or this. This is our perception and our self-understanding. And certainly Dmitry will agree and will confirm. This is a second slogan and a self-understanding which we do not write at the website. Whenever you have a problem, a challenge, a question to raise, and you ask when you send an email, you will have a response within the next 24 hours. I purposely don't write it at the website. Sometimes it might be 25 hours. Okay, so I don't want to be that way, but it makes us unique. Probably we usually respond very, very fast, exactly for that reason. Exactly for that reason, to help you to solve your problem that you can build upon your career at a later stage. But as I said, we don't write it at the website. If you would do that, everybody else would copy and everybody would claim they do it. We simply do it. This is our understatement and our self-understanding. It's better doing the things and not always using that as a big marketing slogan. But it becomes a nice buzzword, but buzzwords, this is not our philosophy.
Thanks.
Should I go next? No. And actually, Mr. Derek, you answered a large part of my question. I wanted to ask that if we, at this period of our lives, we still don't know which career to choose, is that common between the applicants who study at the program? Like at the first, they don't really know which career to choose, and then within studying the program, they can formulate a career path for themselves.
Yes, well, I think it depends. Some students have a professional background already. Others are just freshly graduated from the undergraduate studies. So you're not having a clear path, and a clear path. Never in your life you will have a full, clear career path. This is always a little bit like here, ups and downs, and always things. We expect that you do 2 years of studying, you develop kind of a vision that you find out what is your preference. So when you come in the interview and say, I don't know my career path, I don't know really where I want to go, but what we offer is a very broad education which will help you. Certainly, you can have a look when you might find, okay, I might be more the person for industrial occupation. I'm more the person keen on the research track. Sure, that is what follows there. So it evolves. It evolves.
Thank you.
So maybe if you don't have a question, I think I can continue with the career part, right? Okay. So I can share with you with my screen like this. Do you see it, right? Yeah, I want to talk about the career prospects that every HEC student has in general, and particular in the governance of science, technology, and innovation. Every student who studies at HEC can turn to Career Center for help to find necessary information themselves. I'll start with the fact that every weekday there is a digest of the vacancies of the day, and on Saturdays there is a digest of the vacancies of the week. It will be sent to the students' email, or you can subscribe to one of the HEC career channels. For example, they have channels in Telegram, in Facebook, and Contact. I'll drop you the links later and attract not only the vacancies, but also various career center events. I'll talk about them later. The Career Development Center can also help you with an internship. You know that it is necessary for all students, but you can take an internship at the ISSEK, for example, on the program, find a place on your own, or ask an academic supervisor. You will always be helped to choose something suitable for you. At the Higher School of Economics, you can do a practical training and internship in university department, be a teaching assistant, for example, or intern in a lab. So the LHC has also organized a career map together with the career space. However, at the moment, it is only available in Russian, but you can choose the area you are interested in, see and solve the real problem that you will have to work with, the initial recruitments for the position, career opportunities, and the average salary for the position. Yeah, the Career Center can also help you with your CV. You can find a special CV builder in Russian and English, see various successful CV examples, and read the summary of the lecture CV and cover letter with examples. And here you can also view a special selection of resources with vacancies for beginners. The Career Development Center can also help you with the cover letter and portfolio. The website has a summary of the lecture, how to pass an interview, and various important details during and after the interview. I will send you a link to the site. It is available in 2 versions, in Russian and in English, and you will be able to read everything in detail. You can also order career advice. They are absolutely free for all students, and they are held both offline and online. The site has a convenient form that will help you to sign up. In addition, the Career Center often conduct career marathons. Large companies such Unilever, for example, Renault, Ozons, Coltech, Henkel, Mars, Avita, Sberbank, VTB, etc. They are invited there. Also, in addition to this, we have a mentoring program for students of the first year, the master's program. It was launched in 2020 by my colleagues, Valeria Vlasova and Ekaterina Streltsova. Mentors are graduates of all years of master's program of graduation. Students are offered mentor profiles where you can choose a person with similar professional interests. Of course, you can ask some career advice. As for the future career for our students, I can tell you that everyone builds it in their own field. As a rule, there are commercial organizations, and there are also graduates who have their own business. Then graduates build a career in scientific organization and universities, in nonprofit organizations and state institutions. There are those who continue their studies, for example, like Dmitriy PhD. As a rule, there are most graduates work in the field of information technology, as well as consulting and audit, finance and banking, and it was according to the latest survey that we made. So now I think I can share with you with the links. I mean, HEC career, or maybe if you have questions, not only for me, for all of us, you can write them, you can ask it by the voice. And now I will send you links. It can be useful for you.
This is quite impressive, but still it's all in your hands. We help you as we can. But depends, we cannot offer the ready-made solution. But I believe the numbers and the figures and the different careers, Diana just showed you, this is evidence enough. But you don't need to worry much on having good starting points. A good starting point. Just keep it in mind, it's a starting point. So when the career starts, or it doesn't start, depends. Depends much on you and external environments, of course.
Yes, please.
So hello, I'm Lisa. I'm just a bachelor degree student, so I'm just finishing my second year. My studying is connected with Asian studies, so I'm a double degree student, and next year moving to South Korea. And I'm really interested in your program because I actually wrote my course paper on medical technologies in healthcare of China, and that is why then I moved to the HEC website and found your master's degree. And my question is, I see that a partner university is South Korean university. So as far as all of my specialization is connected with Asia, I actually want to ask you whether this link remains if I will become the student of your program, because the connection with Asia, especially East Asia, is really important for me because it's my specialization sphere of interest. So maybe you can answer my question about it.
You mean South Korea? Because you just said South African University or South Korean University. We have a relation with Seoul National.
I mean, South Korea or China, maybe. 1 year ago, I saw that you were also partners with the Chinese university. So
just with Korea.
Okay. So then a question about Korea.
Yes, we have it, and we will continue having it. So for South Korea, this is the Seoul National University, which is almost identical to Vishka, to HEC here in Russia. So SNU is top, HSE is top in the country. So what else do we want? We have two options there. One is a double degree with SNU, and the other is an exchange agreement with SNU. Both require physical presence in Seoul for half a year or for 1 year. And it will remain in place. So we, at least from our side, we have no intention to cancel and to quit and to stop these programs. No.
Okay, so and then in your program, are there any, in HSC here, are there any specialists which are interested or maybe studied in Asia? So now I have a lot of opportunities, for example, to continue my studying of Asian policy and international relations. Still, I'm more interested in business, and that is why maybe I'll have an opportunity to get acquainted with professors which will help me to choose the career in business in Asia, which is connected with new technologies. So
we have two professors who are native South Koreans. Both of them are called Lee. One is Coin Lee, one is Jeong-dong Lee. And we are frequently speaking in our courses since we are coming from Seoul National University. The third is Gersong, who's chairman of Chorus Tech in Moscow, who's also coming. teaching in the corporate entrepreneurship course in the first year of studies. He just gave his course yesterday evening. This is the business style. This is about intellectual property rights. So I wasn't aware that we have such a strong dominance of the South Koreans, but it's indeed 3 teachers with South Korean roots. Yeah.
Then that's great. Thank you so much.
So any questions?
May I again?
Yeah.
I have a question actually about the double degree part of the program. Is it a selective process, or whoever wants to do it and communicate with the other university can do a double degree program? Can I have a more explicit explanation about this process?
It is, first of all, the question which double degree you mean. So we have 4 different double degrees in place. For all double degrees, we have a competitive situation. So there's always a competition. The double degree with Germany, with TU Berlin, is features that you spend the first year of study in Berlin, the second year in Moscow. The other 3 programs, you spend the first year in Moscow and HSC in the second year with the partner university. That means right after we complete the application around this year in summer and August, we will have an internal competition among those offered a place and accepted a place in the program. And then after that procedure is done, approximately 15 August, I believe, when we run the internal competition among those who are interested going for double degree to TU Berlin. We have to be quick and fast here because it takes a while to get a visa, a study visa, and settle down in Berlin. They start the academic year in October, so it requires indeed 6 to 8 weeks to solve all administrative issues. That's why. For the other double degrees, where you have the second year of studies at the partner university, we run a similar competition in December this year, December, January, to select and to find out who are the most promising candidate and who delivers, who gets most of the added value from going there. This is clear. We had it last year, I can tell you, for Berlin, we had 17 applications, but we can nominate maximum 5 or 6. Depends. So for Seoul, I'm not sure now, what's the ratio 2 to 1, for Italy 2 to 1, for Maastricht it was also 2 to 1, approximately. So being enrolled in the program is no guarantee that you get a place in the double degree. And for the double degree competition, the similar procedure applies, like for the standard application procedure. Who's most convincing, who has the biggest value added going there.
Like you mentioned that you take into account publications and work experience, but what is more important for you, work or publications?
You.
Because like I didn't participate in a lot of academic activities, but I work a lot and participate in many different consulting projects related to innovations.
Yeah, this is about you, because this is part of your personality. It's mission impossible, but you have academic publications and you have 10 years work experience and you're 20 years old. So that doesn't work. So one of the two, and when you have a profound, solid professional experience already, this is certainly a plus. It is not that you have to have everything at the same time. That is, it wouldn't be possible.
May I add a couple of words?
Of course.
Yeah, the thing is that what is interesting in you is the logic and your behavior during the education process, because we know that the master's program is not the easiest way to combine, I don't know, the work and the education. And that's why if you are telling us that in future you're going to be a researcher, but you have a little of little bunch of the key publications, it wouldn't be interesting for us. In other way, if you're going to be a top manager in innovations and you will be telling us about the working experience, it would impress us most. Let's just be in a. I know that I am telling the kind of a simple things, but sometimes on the process of the interview, maybe you're a bit of nervous or something else, and the logic is sometimes hidden in your brain, and what we're going to see from you on this logic and your passion to the education process.
Thank you. And also, like I read the requirements for application, and one is the motivational letter, in which you need to describe why you want to this program specific and what's your future career goals. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, for example, I can mention there that I'm more interested not in the research, but more in like working in the company, and then show here's my work experience.
Yes. That makes sense. The main point here is it should be convincing, should be logic. Avoid telling us that from your early childhood on you wanted to do only this. Approximately 20 to 30% of the motivation letters start with, from my early childhood I wanted to become an innovator. Okay, so why should we continue reading that? If you dreamed of that for the last 20 years, this is not believable. This is not realistic. If you have a clear message to deliver, I just say, yes, I collected some experience already. This is part of my personality. This is part of my profession. And I see I can collect here additional competences which are desirable, which will help me continuing my career. Bingo. That's exactly the point. But the usual is a fairy tailing or storytelling, like my early childhood. And when you see or you detect a motivation letter which could be used for any program, you only change the program title and the program name. This is a negative part. This is, of course. And we have approximately 200 motivation letters per year to check. So it gives you an automatic feeling over the years. It gives an automatic inspiration. Continue reading, stop reading.
Thank you. And also, do you take into account the foreign experience, for example, exchange programs into other universities? For example, if I have this kind of experience.
It is a plus. It's a plus for you. It's part of your overall personality. Yes. It's definitely a plus. But it does not mean if you don't have it yet that it's a disadvantage. So what counts in the end is your person. We see it frequently with applicants state, oh yes, I would like to go abroad. I would like to go to a certain place. And when you start asking, okay, when do you want to go? Where do you want to go? And then it becomes very fussy, very vague. When we ask a second question, we find out, okay, this is just a statement used now in the interview to get a plus. It's not convincing. There are many of them. Some applicants indeed consider they have experience in foreign countries only because a foreign professor was in their city. Okay, you have experience with a foreigner, if you call it like that, but you have never been abroad, surviving and living there on your own. This is a fully different story. So that's why it's not a handicap if you don't have foreign experience yet. It's not. It's a plus, but a marginal. It's a marginal plus when we come to two candidates with equal competence and equal assessment from our side. Then we certainly say, okay, there's a plus. That's why an advantage of that person. But it rarely happens. I don't know. I cannot remember a situation, a constellation where we had such a case. It's just a theoretical part, a theoretical case.
Yeah, and the final one, like in the requirements, it said that it's preferable that you have a bachelor related to mathematics or like hard sciences. But for example, mine will be about human resource management. will have some kind of troubles when I apply, or do have troubles like accustoming to my program?
No. What we do say is we are very keen on having a cohort of students with many different backgrounds. That makes fun. So we don't want to enroll a full cohort or everybody having a management background, management undergraduate. Come on, you can go to a business school. Much better and much more challenging having some, what Dmitriy said earlier, some with a background mathematics, some economics, some history, biology, medicine, even music, arts. We had one with arts. The good thing here is that during the studies, you will have to do some teamwork, group work in a project case, in a project form. That gives you a first impression already, the experience working with people from different backgrounds. And when you do HR, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Mathematicians approach a problem from a different perspective than management guys or the linguistic guys. During the study, you will make an experience that you can make mistakes without being punished. When you're in the professional environment, you better don't make many mistakes. So it's here, like again, learning by doing. And you will get a feeling and a sense for people with different background and their attitude and approach towards solving a problem, which is different from having a drink downstairs in the bar, where it's only people, standard ordinary people, social life. But here it's not a professional, that might be a different story. That's why we want to have a mixed cohort, many different backgrounds. That's also expressed, to conclude here, in our double degrees. So we issue a master in management. Our double degree partners in Seoul, in Torino, they issue masters of engineering. Berlin and Maastricht, this is master of science. So then you have two completely different degrees. You got the Moscow master management, you got the Seoul master in engineering. And that reflects already about the cohort.
Okay, thank you for your answers.
All right, folks. Have a nice evening.
Auf Wiedersehen.
You too.
Goodbye.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.